Hello, welcome beautiful vibrant souls to today's pick a card reading, which is going to be pretty straightforward, but it's basically what do you need to release. These might be big things, these might be small things, these might be things you're aware of, things that have not even popped up on your radar, things that can be done relatively all at once, and things that have to happen in incremental stages. So we're going to leave it kind of open to interpretation, open to the messages that need to come through. So as usual, and as denoted in the thumbnail, there are 3 options to choose from today. Option 1 is marked with this fuchsia agate. There we go. I knew we'd get there in the end. This fuchsia agate. She's beautiful, lovely. Option 2 is denoted by this malachite pendant. I love her. And option 3 is this blue hemimorphite tower. So as usual, pause the video if you need to. Meditate, contemplate on your options. When you have found one that best resonates with your energy or with the energy of your question, please feel free to head to the timestamps in the description box below, lest I be unable to speak at all. So with that, I'm going to start with group 1. Thanks for standing by. Hi, group 1. So you guys chose the fuchsia agate. She's beautiful. This is a stone of the heart chakra, and I always, because it's like the perfect size of my palm, I'll always like just clutch this baby if I'm just having like a tough day. Even before I sat down to pick out your cards, anything, I knew for a fact this was going to be the group where one of the things that you need to release is perfectionism. You know, because it's getting in the way of your happiness. I'm getting this energy where some of you may have kind of have had a deeply embedded belief that by being perfect, you would be like, you could be like worthy of praise or affection. But I'm almost getting the sense of perfectionism with trying to make something your happiness, right? It's got to be perfect and then I'll be happy. It's got to be it's got to check every single box and then I'll be happy with it. You're putting off your happiness for another moment, and it's a moment that rarely ever comes, if ever, because life is imperfect, right? And there's a need to release perfectionism in order to truly, it's like when you're not so focused on what you think you should have, you start to focus a lot more on what you actually do have and starting to like be present in that energy. And that's kind of what I'm picking up here. So let's look at your oracle cards. Kindness. 29 reducing to a 2. The energy of kindness reminds us to be considerate and wise in our interactions with others and ourselves, and to find the root of love through our connection to source. Okay. We have the moose with acceptance and eccentric. Beautiful. And then the mummy with change. Yeah. Okay. So we already have an energy of change here. We're talking about what needs to be released. I'm just rearranging the cards so they're a little bit more easy to work with. I feel like I'm really drawn to acceptance on this moose card. And of course we have eccentric here. Some of you, excuse me, this perfectionism is very much, I don't feel like you're being hypercritical of others, but there's a sense here where, again, having a vision of what perfect looks like or what something needs to look like in order to be good enough, I feel like keeps you not only from, you know, being able to find happiness in the present moment, but from being able to see yourself as a happy person, or from, this is a very weird expression, a purveyor of happiness. Somebody who lives in, you know, a happy world and has happy experiences and attracts happy experiences. And there's something here with eccentric and this moose energy of needing to see yourself in your authenticity as a thing worth celebrating. I think the root of this perfectionism comes from, you know, with kindness, being able to show this kindness to yourself. We have a lot of blue and a lot of green. So this is a lot of heart and throat chakra. This is really talking about the combination, the nexus of those two things is our heart-centered truth, and being able to, especially to create from that place, because the throat chakra actually does deal a lot with our creativity, being able to express, being able to emote. Some of you might have a lot of Virgo placements. It's kind of something I'm getting. There is, you know, a love and an appreciation for others and for self, but that often goes unsaid, or it's like demonstrated in, in small ways. So for example, some of you might have this kind of idea of like, you know, like let's say you want to throw a celebration for somebody because they got a promotion, right? You want to throw a little like dinner for a friend. This might be where, you know, you might get so focused on making it perfect that it either detracts from the experience or it detracts from the amount that you're able to be present. And there's a certain element where your ability to be present is the gift in that situation. You being present often means more than whatever it is that you're making or you're creating from a place of overanalyzing, from a place of being overly self-critical, perfectionistic. A lot of Virgo energy coming in now. And there's a sense here where I feel like the reason, what might be at the root of this is the sense of it has to, like in the example I just gave, like instead of your presence being the gift, your ability to be present and hold space for this other person and for yourself and for the fact that you being able to show up completely, because they're showing me the image of somebody organizing a party and they've got the clipboard and they're like, you know, running around like talking to caterers or like organizing all the guests or, you know, like if there's like a gift table involved in something, making sure everything goes where it needs to go, so much so that they're not actually really present at the event. I know this is a really weird example, but there's a sense here where what you do for others is appreciated and important, but who you are is so much more important than what you do. And I think if you are attracted to this group, there might be a sense where something that needs to be released is this feeling that you have to fill a particular role in order to be a good person, a good friend, in order to be, you know, liked. And it stems from being able to show yourself kindness. Because I don't get this energy that you're, you know, hypercritical or, you know, holding other people to an incredibly high standard. But I'm getting this impression that there's a sense of like, I have to do this. I have to be the one to do this. And it's got to be perfect. And that's what needs to change. In the background of this moose card, there are mountains always indicating obstacles and challenges. And we have pyramids in the background of this card, but it kind of has a similar sort of slightly similar vibe. It just feels like, because pyramids for me are also, I associate them very heavily with manifestation. There's a sense here where there is a need to, like there is a, how do I describe this? There's a need to have self-acceptance and kindness with yourself and start changing the way it is that you look at your creations and what you're contributing. That's a word that's coming through, contributing. So I want to clarify a little bit more. Let's see what we get here. 8 of Cups. Okay. 5 of Pentacles. Okay. 6 of Pentacles reversed. This is a very clear story. The Emperor reversed. You might be dealing with an Aries or a masculine energy, and Death at the bottom, talk about release. This is a very clear story. So I feel like this, kind of what we were talking about before, this causes you at some level, and I think many of you are aware of this and you're working on changing it, and maybe this is the final stages, or again, you're working on this. This sort of predilection causes you to put yourself in spaces or with people who cannot honor you. You might be surrounded by people that look to you for, you know, advice, support, look to you to solve their problems. Again, I'm picking up a lot of Virgo energy. Looks to you to solve their problems. You might generally tend to show up for other people, right? Like you'll come save the day. But this is based off of a potentially unhealthy relationship to service, because one of the shadow aspects of like Virgo energy, and I'm only just saying Virgo so much just because it makes me think of that, but you don't have to be a Virgo or have Virgo placements. But one of the shadow energies of that sign is being overly self-sacrificial. Same thing with Pisces, actually. Being overly self-sacrificial and getting burnt out, right? Overextending yourself. So I feel like, you know, and one of the things that those energies have to kind of negotiate. And similarly, if you have placements in your 6th or 12th house, that what you'll have to negotiate in the areas of life that your placements refer to, is how to have a healthy give and take when it comes to serving others and caring for others versus caring for yourself, right? And having good, healthy boundaries. I think that because you've been working on this in the past, you've attracted a lot of people who are not in a good place, not in a good space, and you've wanted to help them. But it's led to this energy of feeling like that's your role, that's your job. And so much so that you may have started to over-identify with this almost kind of like, you know, hero sort of mentality or label, where it's like, I have to, you know, there's so much to do and I'm the only one who can do it, or I'm the only one who can do it good enough. I'm the only one who can do it right enough. And I do see that here. And it's really interesting because I think it's like with the Emperor reversed and the Six of Pentacles reversed, I feel like this might be something that in the moment makes you feel powerful and in control, and making, like on the outside, you might make a lot of like judgment calls. You might be kind of like a leadership type of role. Again, you know, it's making you think of the person organizing the party, like directing everybody. But what this is actually doing is destabilizing you. This is robbing you of your power to have healthy give and take. And the reason why that's important is that not only is that not fair to you, but that ultimately leads to burnout, right? When we are burnt out, we will end up, you know, deserting relationships, leaving jobs. This will lead to burnout because it's unsustainable. And so some of you may have been working on changing this, may have been working on being kinder to yourself, learning to put yourself first, your needs first. And I feel like there is something, I'll clarify what in a moment, with the Five of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups, where it's finally time to walk away from it. It might be kind of like one of the last things, or it's just very, very important. But with the Death at the bottom that we saw earlier, it's part of this transformative process. Death, okay. This is the happy squirrel. It's unique to this deck, and it's about like total happiness and excitement. Wow. Okay, Ace of Cups in reverse. And then the Six of Wands reverse. What was at the top? The Five of Cups. Okay, there is a situation that clearly you are aware of this, is not going anywhere with the Six of Wands. This could be something that it feels like a failure and you've hidden it from other people, or it's like you don't want to do something about it. You don't want to make a change because it will be like some type of open or public admission that this didn't work. But with the Five of Cups, you're hurting. You're hurting from this. I feel like this is something where somebody hasn't met you halfway. Maybe you've just kind of realized like, wow, this is not a reciprocal relationship. Or like, wow, you know, like I'm always showing up for other people like this. I'm going to, you know, see if they can show up for me the same way, and realizing that somebody's not really able to meet you in that place. Because again, you've had a lot of relationships that are this Five of Pentacles energy, and then the Six of Pentacles reverse, where it's like you're ready to move out of that into something that's more generous, more abundant, has more reciprocity. It's, you know, people taking care of each other instead of people just surviving next to each other. And so there's a situation that, you know, Six of Wands reverse, Five of Cups, happy squirrel, Ace of Cups reverse, Death. You know it's over. There's no more happiness in it. There's no more love in it. It's just something that you stick with because you're comfortable. Very much the Eight of Cups energy. There's a lot of emotional investment, but there's been a lot of pain, and you're aware that this needs to be over. Because what I'm getting is it's the only kind thing to do for yourself. And I think there's been a fear of walking away, because I'm really drawn into find the root of our love through our connection to source. I think there's been a fear of walking away, and with that Five of Pentacles, for fear of not finding anything better. Yeah, Ten of Swords reversed. This is over. This may have been a very painful ending, but this is over. And the nice thing with the Ten of Swords reverse is that it's as bad as it's going to get, and it's actively improving. I think you've been through the worst in the situation and you're healing. Maybe it took this, you know, it's this significant, painful ending. This is usually betrayal, being stabbed in the back. Maybe it took that to finally kind of like see this for what it is, or like realize a pattern. And there's something where it's served its purpose and it's now time to let it go. What is this? It will be different for everybody, but I kind of want to get a better feel. Five of Cups, yeah, there's a loss. This can be a breakup. This could be, you know, we have this, we have death. This could be literally like somebody passing away. It could be a lot of complex emotions, complex grief being brought up. This could be the loss of a friendship, or having to let go of something that once brought you a lot of joy and is now no longer doing so. Yeah, the Four of Cups reversed. I feel like this was something where you were really trying. You were extending a cup. You know, we saw the Ace of Cups reversed earlier. You were really, really trying, and there was a rejection of some sort, or somebody. For me, the Four of Cups is like you're emotionally just not participating, right? It's not necessarily somebody who's fighting you, but it's just somebody who's like, I could take it or leave it. So there's a rejection energy. There's an apathy that goes along with the Four of Cups. And so it's something where it used to either bring you a lot of happiness. There's a lot of hope there. And it's now just bringing sadness, because there's a recognition that this person is not going to put in their fair share, and you're always going to have to be doing more. Yeah, Seven of Cups reversed. There's a clarity now that you have. So what's ending, essentially, what needs to be released is, I think it'll be different for everybody here. This situation that is over, is done, is not going anywhere, a situation in which you faced a lot of betrayal, a lot of iniquity. You've given a lot and haven't received really anything back. It's brought you a lot of sadness, a lot of grief. And I think in order to be kind to yourself, to be accepting of self, and to get the authentic change that you're looking for toward real, more authentic happiness, it is time to release this situation once and for all. Because especially with that perfectionism energy, you can't make somebody care about you the way that you need them to. You can't make somebody do the work. And there's something where you've done all you can do, and it's time to now release this person or this situation because it's not bearing fruit and it's certainly not honoring you. So I think that's just about everything I have for group 1. I know that was a lot. I hope that was helpful. I'm wishing you guys big, beautiful blessings, and thank you for being here. I hope I get the chance to read for you again soon, okay? Okay, take care. Bye. Hi, group 2. Immediately, I'm picking up the color orange. I'm picking up like a Saturn kind of energy here. I feel this excited. Like if the Page of Wands and the Tarot met Saturn energy, there's a sense of, I feel like there's something where it's time to get down to brass tacks about something. It's time to get serious about something. Like you've been in the excitement kind of, like fantasizing, planning stages, you're kind of toying around with the idea, and now is the time to start to get serious about how we're going to make this idea happen. We have Malachite, which is a stone of the heart chakra, and there's a sense here where it's like the universe wants you to have what you want, but it's really important to temper inspiration with a certain element of practicality, or at least like a practical plan. I'm hearing a backup. So maybe you have an idea and it seems like, maybe it's risky, but it should work, or it should work, and you're really excited. This is saying come up with a backup just in case, not because it's necessarily going to fail, but because you want to be prepared when things do come up. This feels like something like you're relocating, going somewhere totally new, you're starting a new business. That's kind of the energy I'm picking up here. So this is kind of saying like, we want you to be ready. So this way, as this picks up and this like gets ready to kind of take off, you're able to handle as much of the things that will be thrown at you kind of on the fly as possible, is kind of the energy here. So let's see what you got. You have Tree with stability and growth. Okay. You have sensitivity. Okay. 35 reducing to an 8. The frequency of sensitivity helps us to open, helps us open to the world of subtlety and detail while anchoring in structural foundation, thus supporting us to become more fully multidimensional. Yes. Wow, and ancestors with the love and legacy of our DNA. Okay. So, I feel like if you pick this group, you've been on a journey to have more stability in your life. And I think one of the things that almost feels paradoxical about this is it's involved letting go of a path that seemed very stable, but was not in alignment with you. And so there's this excitement about seeking out your new path or getting this inspiration toward a new path. And that's a very, very important part, right? The inspiration is what gives us motivation and carries us through the difficult moments. And so I think that you've been doing work when it comes to that, seeking, like I said, greater stability. But there's also a sense here of, there's also a sense, like I said, of like needing to kind of, how do I want to put this? It's like needing to release the cycle that you've recently, like, hang on, sorry. The part of the cycle you've just been in. So again, there's that excitement and that inspiration, but it feels like now is a time for grounding. So needing to release like this, this like very like high energy in order to kind of, ground it a little bit more in order to make more happen, right? Instead of going like having very, very high energy and then having it crash, or like not really doing a whole lot with it. There's a sense here of I'm also getting there's a sense here of balance. You know, we have trees represented twice. There's a sense of balance between the spiritual realm and the earthly realm, and like learning how to be a master of both, because you're very spiritually sensitive. For some with sensitivity, and I want to say this with a caveat, so hang on, okay? There's a sense here of needing to be less sensitive to the criticism of others. Now, I never want to tell people not to feel their feelings or to be less sensitive, because sensitivity is a gift and an important one at that. But there's a sense here where you have something good on your hands. And some of you might be a little bit prone sometimes to getting discouraged by, you know, criticism of others. And so there's a call here to release a sense of grounding yourself in other people's opinions, because you have something good on your hands. And people who can't see it just don't have the vision for it, if that makes sense. I actually want to pull tarot for you to get further details. Okay, so what is this that needs to be released? Okay, the Page of Cups, the Seven of Cups reversed, okay. And the Queen of Wands. Okay, this is kind of what I mean. There's a sense here of like, this is like very creative energy, super creative energy. You're very creative people, very sensitive. You can draw a lot down from the subtle realms. I think it's been a balance of grounding it that it needs to happen here, because if you can ground this, you can bring it down just a little bit or ground it just a little bit, you can make so much magic. It's bonkers. And you could make a lot of stability for yourself. There could be a lot of like you could manifest a whole lot, but there's just a need to ground a little bit more. And, you know, death when I cut the deck. So yeah, I feel like you guys have been working on this. Nine of Pentacles. Some of you, you're in the middle of creating, you know, the Ancestors card in this deck and then the Tree card also both give me like 10 of Pentacles energy. You're in the middle of manifesting and creating quite a legacy for yourself. But what needs to be released, the thing that might be kind of subconsciously sort of stopping you, is there might be kind of this fear of your own independence, or like redefining the relationship to your independence. So I cut the deck again. We have the Ten of Swords reversed, because you may have experienced something in the past where being alone or being independent didn't feel good, right? It happened after a betrayal. It felt like a punishment. And so you're rewriting those beliefs, because I think that's what's been stopping a lot of you from being able to move forward. There's a fear of, you know, we talked about this again, a fear of criticism, potentially a fear of attack. There might be a fear that by pursuing the path you know you should be on, like you really want to go for, that you might be putting yourself at risk of losing important relationships and connections. And so what needs to kind of be released is this sense of never quite grounding your manifestations, right? Because again, very creative energy. You can attract a lot with the Queen of Wands. People have their eye on you. People want to help you. People want to work with you, but there's a block. Tell me more about this block. And it's the block that needs to be released. Again, some of you, this is about being able to ground that. But we'll see what comes out. We'll see. Yeah, the Three of Pentacles. For some of you, this block is about being able to work with others. You have so much talent and so much skill, and there's a need here to let yourself be aligned with other people. Some of you might have a predilection with that Nine of Pentacles. You like to work alone, but you can't do all this alone. Five of Pentacles. King of Pentacles reversed. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so I don't know why I wanted to be like, listen to me. Your guides may have been trying to get this message to you for a while. If this was your group, you need to know that you have a subconscious blockage when it comes to money. And there is an attachment here between emotions and money that needs to be addressed. So this could look like, some of you might believe if you, like I said, if you get really successful, it will cost you relationships that are important for you. Some of you, there's a fear around being financially stable, because there's a fear around, you know, alienating those you love, or there's a fear around, you know, being alone, because there's unresolved emotional wounds here. With the Five of Pentacles, this is that lack mentality. So somewhere deep down, there's a fear of truly like creating stability or grounding yourself or showing up consistently in some way, shape, or form, because there is a fear of some type of emotional loss. There is a fear. What is this Ace of Cups reversed? Judgment. There's a fear of the past returning. There's a fear around, again, you know, there's some deeply held belief here. With the Ancestors card, this could even be an inherited belief. The Six of Swords reversed. This is an inner child healing card for me. This is what needs to get resolved. It's the Three of Wands, because you've been kind of putting it out there. You've been manifesting. You have your intentions. This is the blockage, though. I feel like when it comes to, and some of you might be healing your relationship with peace versus chaos. And so you're learning to kind of overcome, some of you are already like, you know, you're hard at work at this. You're overcoming like any sort of self-sabotage tendencies to, you know, sabotage a sense of stability. But this is what's at the heart of it, is there's a situation rooted in childhood where either, you know, we have, again, our financial well-being and like our material, physical well-being and our emotional well-being. One of these came at the expense of the other, either in your own experience or witnessed, right? Maybe this is like when your family, there's a sense here, maybe when your family was doing poorly financially, that's when things got really strained and stressed. So there's a sense here where it's like maybe you hyper over focus on like work and you struggle with like working with others, making the connection. There's also a focus, you know, maybe this is where, you know, financial struggles brought you guys together because you had to all work as a team. So there's a program that you have, there's a belief that you have that like financial poverty is what will bring us together. So if I become, you know, successful in my career, I'll become financially stable. And if I become financially stable, I will become lonely. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, but there's an emotional and material connection here where, you know, again, it's like either both areas suffer together, or if one area is doing well, the others suffer. And again, for some of you, this is like, if I'm doing well, I will, you know, lose the support of friends and family. I will alienate friends and family. That's the belief. And this is what needs to be, especially with sensitivity, you might be really sensitive to how other people feel. And there could be a sense of like, well, if I'm doing well and I'm, you know, prioritizing myself and I'm prioritizing this aspect of my life, what about the people around me? Some of you need to look at the connections that you're surrounding yourself with, because you're very, very sensitive. And if these are people who are still in this Five of Pentacles, like committed to this Five of Pentacles mentality of loss, of lack, of, you know, there isn't enough, we'll never have enough. They're always like, even if they have enough, they're like scrounging and kind of like holding on to it, or something sort of like that. There's a need to start putting up some barriers and boundaries as to, you know, the way that you converse, or the way that you like share energy together, right? The time you spend together, the conversations you have, because their energy might be affecting you. But I want to know a little bit more about this, like what needs to be released here and what you can do about it. So the Nine of Wands reversed, okay? The Queen of Swords, yeah, and the Seven of Swords. You've come so far. The High Priestess, you're very shrewd, very intuitive, very sensitive. Cannot stress that enough. Pisces showing up, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here. You've come so far in this growth journey. This has a sense of don't give up now. Don't give up before the miracle. I feel like you're standing down kind of one of the last major things. And one of these last major things is yourself. It's your own beliefs here. There's a need to be willing. You've done so much. It's kind of like there's a need to slay this final dragon, which is being able to like overcome your own self-sabotage tendencies. And with the Queen of Swords being kind of the answer to this, being the key to this could be setting boundaries with yourself. But this also for me is being clear, right? This says like, you know, I'm going to, you know, make sure I show up for myself in this, and this way, or I'm going to tell this person I'm not always going to be there whenever you need, right? It's like setting clear boundaries with yourself and with other people. So if you know what the end goal is, it's saying, you know, come hell or high water, everything else can kind of go fuck itself. But, you know, I'm doing, you know, every day I'm doing this, or, you know, every week I'm doing this. It's like being very, very clear with yourself. Wow, my right ear is ringing to high hell. Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry. It's being very clear with yourself and others about what you will and won't tolerate. Because like I said, you have come so far. You have so much talent. You have so much spiritual insight and wisdom. It would be a shame to just give up on this now. And I think a lot of you don't have any intentions of that. But there's a sense here of what needs to be released is anything other than clarity. A lot of you guys are trying to figure out how to handle this, figure out where the line is, figure out what to do. And I feel like there's a sense here with the Seven of Cups as well, where it's like, you already know what to do, right? You might have a lot of options and you're having trouble picking something. And it's kind of like, pick something, make a plan, stick to that plan. The King of Pentacles, he's somebody who does something tried and true, step by step by step. And that's how he reaches success. And it takes a long time, but he's very, you know, he's very peaceful because he knows he's going to get there. He's very confident in himself. He has a plan and he follows it. And there's a peace that goes along with that. And it also opens up a lot of your energy. I was just talking about this on my TikTok the other day in a money mindset video. But one of the things that's really important to do is that I was talking about open tabs kind of. And when we have like things in our lives that we lack, you know, boundaries with, we lack clarity with, things that essentially are energy siphons, right? These can be everything from a friend we need to have a conversation with that, you know, we're not looking forward to, and we either try to overly placate that friend or we try to avoid them. This can be a project where we're always saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know, I'll get around to XYZ, like, and it's always on our list. It's kind of in the background. Excuse me, but we don't do it, right? Because it's hanging on to our energy, right? Where it's always in the back of our mind. If we have a free moment, we're being like, should I do this thing that I really want to do? Or be like, ooh, but I also said I would be, you know, picking something out at random. I also said I would be learning woodworking. I also said I'd be, you know, doing my French lessons. There's something here where it's like getting very, very clear around what you want, what you don't, what is serving you, what's not. And like picking, you know, either the next goal on your list or the next like just picking something with the Seven of Cups. You have a lot of things you could do. You have a lot of talent. And there's kind of a need of like, pick something and just go for it and stick with it and get very, very clear around what is not it. Because I think you guys can manifest a lot, but there's, again, a need to ground it a little bit, a need to kind of remove energetic distractions. If you want to know more about like the open tabs thing, please let me know and I'll make like a whole video. Sorry, my nose is itching super bad. I'll make like a whole video about it because I do actually think it matters quite a lot, and especially for this group. I cannot get my hair to cooperate. That's fine. It matters quite a lot, right? Because it's like, this will end up like, again, taking energy from you, whether you realize it or not. So there's a need to get very, very clear and to kind of like orient your schedule and your life right now around making that goal happen, making something your singular focus, and kind of being willing to like say like, fuck all the everything else. Or again, being able to put up serious boundaries. There's also a need here to not be afraid to cut people out, again, with sensitivity, that are not really helping you reach your goals. If you have, like, for example, friends where, you know, you're always having to, like, you know, you're always having to placate them. You're always having to, like, let's say, you know, they're like, you know, why aren't you texting me back? Why aren't you texting me back? Or something like that. If you have, like, friendships like that where you feel like it takes up a lot of your energy, it's okay to put those friends on the back burner, say right now I really need to focus on other things, or it's okay to take a break from those friendships entirely. There's just something where it's like, it's time for you guys to like really hone your focus because your time for success is coming. So letting go of any lack of clarity and a lack of boundaries with self and others is very, very important right now to your stability. I want to just pull you guys like a card or two of advice. Two of Swords reversed, make a decision. That's kind of what I'm getting. Sorry, it's very clear. Justice, and things are going to work out well for you. You've put in the work and the effort. You're going to have a good result. Yeah, the Nine of Pentacles, you're going to have, you know, this independence, this success, but it's up to you. And what really needs to be done is for decisions to be made, cuts to be made, boundaries to be put up, an exceeding amount of clarity about how to proceed. And it's totally up to you about how you want to. Like if you want to invest in, you know, whatever it is you want to invest in, there's going to be success, right? There's going to be stability, but there's a need here to pick something and pick something with the Malachite that's going to make you happy, right? And then to really invest in that and ground that. No path is ever perfect, but there's a sense here of picking something that will make you happy, that you'll want to do the work for, and then just going for it. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm so happy that you guys were here. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. And I will hopefully get the chance to read for you again real soon. Take care. Bye. Hi, group 3. There's immediate go with the flow vibes. I want to take a nap all of a sudden. Some of you might need to take a nap. But you chose the hemimorphite. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. For some of you, treat yourself to a nice cup of getting herbal tea, your favorite herbal tea. Because this is a stone for me that's a lot about finding, you know, emotional stability and regrounding, regrouping, restabilizing. You may have just released a lot of stressful people, stressful situations, and this is kind of like the regrouping period. I do still feel like there's more to release though. This is what this reading's for. There is still more to release, but your guides kind of wanted to like acknowledge that. So let's see what you have. Yep, ship with directions and journey. Oh yeah. Trick or treat, mischief and play. And duality, wow. 18, reducing to a 9. The frequency of duality supports our ability to gracefully flow with the everlasting movement among all opposites. Some of you, you've just released a soul partner with duality. You know, this got the yin-yang energy, always makes me think of counterparts. Some of you have just released like a significant soul partner, whether you view it as a counterpart or not. Somebody, this could have been opposites attract. This is somebody who you've done a lot of spiritual work with. And there is a need to kind of like take a little bit of a rest period because you do have a journey coming up with this ship card. Ship happens. There's a need to kind of, sorry, that was a line out of the show Raising Hope, which is a phenomenal show. Go watch it if you haven't already. But there's this need to kind of recuperate and regroup before moving forward. Some of you, there's an integration that's happening right now as well. Again, you've finished something pretty significant. And the reason why I say this too is because we have the house in the background. Whenever I see house imagery in tarot and oracle, this always makes me think of like our emotional foundations and our sense of, you know, like our emotional foundations being like the foundation of a home, and then how we build our lives and ourselves up on top of that. So there's been a lot of reprogramming work. There's been a lot of breaking down emotional foundations that are heavily like cracked and, you know, crumbling, falling apart, that are not serving us. And I do kind of see that here. I'm really looking at, you know, to gracefully flow with the everlasting movement among all opposites. Some of you are also going through a shift where you are, with the blue and the orange, first of all, tapping more into your creativity, but where you are almost becoming a little bit maybe more like this person you had to release. It's like, oh, they're rubbing off on me kind of a thing. And this is because this person has brought you at a soul level back into balance, or the lessons you learn with this person are bringing you more into a soul balance. Some of you, I have to be honest, what needs to be released is this person. So I want to clarify of all these, what needs to be released. And so for some of you, you've already done the work, like maybe you've, you know, put up a boundary, or you've gone no contact with somebody. It's just a matter of emotionally still like releasing it, and that takes as long as it takes. But let's get a better hint. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. This could have been an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is something or someone where you've invested a lot and then it just did not go anywhere. It did not pan out. Yeah, exactly. 7 of Pentacles. This is somebody you were waiting on for a long time, or a situation. This also could have been a job, just because we have a lot of Pentacles coming up. 10 of Wands. And it was very stressful, very difficult, exhausting. And 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Oh, wow. And the 10 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. So I feel like this is really saying, you know, first of all, we have 2 10s indicating the end of a cycle. I feel like this is what you're releasing, or you're being encouraged to release or continue to keep releasing, is that this is a situation you put a lot of energy into. This is why I feel like an exhaustion, but this is also why I feel like this is an incremental or, you know, stepwise kind of release, because there might be where an actual, you know, boundary was set, an actual conversation was had, you know, a withdrawal of effort or resources may have kind of come into play. But this is something where energetically it'll still take time to disengage from this situation and this person. But there's a huge investment here. And I feel like there was a lot of effort. There's a lot of patience. This person put you through a lot, made you jump through a lot of hoops, because there was this potential in your, you know, the way in your eyes, this potential for this 10 of Pentacles. If this is a person, this could have been like somebody that you saw as a life partner. If this, you know, this could have been a family member where it's like, but we're family. Like, I don't want to walk away from you. I don't want to cut you off unless I have no other option. There's something kind of like that. If this was a job, this would be like you saw yourself climbing the ranks here, being loyal to this company for a really long time. You saw your longevity, your forever here. You saw something that could pay off for a very long time. That's why you really like stuck it out. I'm hearing you sweat it out. You put in a lot of effort here. And I think what ultimately this ended up teaching you, or what this is teaching you, are lessons, or like, you know, pointing out any blockages with self-love and self-respect, right? We talked about this with the trick or treat, mischief and play. There's the house in the background. And this was really like pointing out cracks in your emotional foundations. The Queen of Swords, and where better boundaries needed to be put up. Yes. For some of you, there's the recognition of this, but the boundaries have not been set. And again, you know, release. This is what you're being encouraged to let go of. The Nine of Wands reversed. It's time to throw in the towel on this. Sorry. I try not to be like horribly blunt, but it's a very clear message. We have air energy, by the way, showing up. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Seven of Swords reversed, the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay, and the Ten of Cups. Interesting, we have the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles. Now we have the 9 and the 10 of Cups coming out together. I feel like there's a recognition of this right here, where it's like you're looking and you can't lie to yourself about this anymore. You can't, I mean, like, you can't kid yourself anymore. Because again, I think this had a lot of potential to be your wish come true, to be this, you know, happily ever after, this longevity, to be able to build a lot in this situation or with this person. And once again, we have a heavy emphasis on either a partnered relationship, a family, or the potential for both. That's what kept you holding on. Now we have 10, you know, we have 3 10s. So again, ending of a really big cycle. That's what kept you, sorry, you hear my stomach. That's what kept you putting in the work and holding on, is that this person either had been in your life for a long time, or there was that potential, right? There's the rainbow at the end of the you know, the storm here. That was what we're hoping for. But I think there's an energy here where what needs to be released is that there's a sense where you can't, like, again, this is where it's like you can't kid yourself anymore. You can't lie to yourself anymore. There needs to be this recognition that this is not making you happy. And the reason why this recognition is important is to be able to go out and actually find your happiness, right? So there could be all the potential in the world for happiness with this person or the situation, but potential is just that. It's just potential. And if there's not enough investment, it will never turn. You know, it stopped with the 7 of Pentacles. I'm seeing we have the 7, the 9, and the 10. You know, what's missing is the 8. What's missing is the hard work. What's missing is the effort. So like, potential is great, but if there's no hard work, there's no effort, there's no, you know, when the going gets rough, it's not going to go. It's never going to turn into the 10 of Pentacles or the 10 of Cups. And so I feel like a lot of you guys, what needs to be released is this person or this situation. With mischief and play, I feel like there's this energy of, you know, you guys could have been doing some inner child healing together, but there's an energy of like, you guys have fun together, but it's wondering like, is this good for me or not? And I think there's a level where a lot of you are being called to get very serious with yourselves about what this situation has cost you, or what it is costing you. There might be something where you're a good fit for each other right now, but you're starting to move into looking at something long-term and they are not. And that's the thing, is like, if you want somebody for the long haul, or you want, you know, a job for the long haul, and somebody's not meeting your needs, or not, just taking a sip of tea, or not interested in talking about investing further, they could have been a great fit, or they could be a great fit for you for right now. And if you're just looking for right now, maybe that works. But I think that you guys are looking for something more, right? With this, you know, this journey, you're looking to journey into something that's, you know, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, your happiness, your abundance, your fulfillment. You're looking for something more. And this situation, this person, either, I'm feeling like a person very heavily, either isn't it, or like either isn't it, or isn't going to be able to make that jump and become it. And there's a sense here too where with duality, I feel like some of this is that you guys have to, like, there's a side of yourselves that you've been avoiding, or a side of the circumstances you've been avoiding. So for example, mischief and play, maybe this is somebody who you have a lot of fun with, but the flip side is that they're not as mature as you wish you need them to really be, right? This could be, you know, if this is a job, this is something where you really love your coworkers, but there's no upward mobility or upward momentum. Everything is a lateral move at best, and you're having to get serious with yourself over that. And there's something about being able to accept all parts of yourself or of the situation in order to make the best decision. Some of you with duality, you're recognizing a part of yourself and your needs and your wants that you were previously suppressing, and that changes the direction you're going in. What is this duality? The Page of Swords. I think you're learning about yourself. You're learning about your needs. You're learning about, just because again, the sacral and the throat chakra, there's a sense where you're learning about what you want to create. Oop. Wow. Okay, hang on. Wow. The Nine of Wands. It was initially reversed and it kind of came out like that. And this is what's informing you about if you want to keep trying with something, if something is still worth your effort. The Three of Cups. For some of you, this is a friendship. For some of you, this is, you know, I always say this is like a soul, like the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles are both soul partnership cards for me. But one of the differences, this is kind of just like all about, you just have fun together. You just like each other. You genuinely get along, right? I always say, like, the Three of Cups is the friend that both gets you into jail and will bail you out. And we love the Three of Cups here. It's celebratory. It feels good. But when we're looking at the long term, we want the Three of Pentacles. And the reason why is because the people that you're paired with in that Three of Pentacles energy, you're brought together by shared values, by a shared vision. So when you're looking at the long term, these are people who will work alongside you, who will work in a similar fashion, who are similarly motivated, who have similar goals. And there's a longevity to the partnership because you have, excuse me, equal investment with the other people involved. Not to say we don't love the Three of Cups here. We all need a mixture of both. But there might be this situation where it was, you know, all about fun, or it was all about the now. And I think you guys are moving into something where you're really looking at what you want for yourself long term and making different choices. Yeah, exactly. The Five of Pentacles, because while this could be a situation that was full of a lot of fun, it ultimately left you feeling unstable, left you feeling, you know, like you didn't have enough. This feels like high highs and low lows. This also can like literally be referring to a habit, like, you know, this always depicts drinking. So a habit like partying, like drinking, like smoking weed, things like that, whatever it might be for you. Something that brings you a lot of emotional gratification and like pleasure in the moment, but then leaves you either feeling bad about yourself, feeling, you know, like financially, leaves you in kind of a rut, things like that. And the people that you share those hobbies and habits with, right? It's kind of like if you know, if you've got friends that are in the party scene and then you kind of decide like, I don't know if this is for me anymore, it can be hard to really put that out there because you don't want to lose your friends. But that transition is really, really important. So there's something here about like looking at this other side of yourself and about what you want and being willing to accept that and thus release what was not that. Because I think what you're releasing brought you a lot of, like, again, happiness, but also this sense of lack, this sense of like hunger, feeling like you're looking for something. Pardon my itchy nose. Like you're looking for something. It's that drive, like there's got to be something more. And I feel like you guys are ready to get out of that energy for, you know, for the majority of you. Yeah, the Nine of Pentacles, because a lot of you have been working on repairing your relationship with yourself, your self-worth here. You might have been working on your financial situation, or you're trying to work on your financial situation. So like, let's say it's like, I'm not going to go out partying for a while because I really want to save money. I want to work on this. Or like, you know, I think I've been thinking about getting out of the towny bar scene because I want to get really serious about my job. And there's something here where there needs to be the release of who you were and the people who are hell-bent on keeping you as that version of yourself. 10 of Wands, because this is now too much to carry. And again, this might be something where, you know, you're really claiming your self-worth, and as a result, you need to let go of a person in particular who is not a good fit for who you are now and who you are becoming. Yeah, pardon my itchy nose again. The Hermit and then the Knight of Swords. I feel like this is you and this is somebody else here, where it's like you're in this place of wanting to soul search. You're in this place of like kind of turning your back on what you were doing, or just trying to find clarity, see what else is out there, contemplate other ways to live. And it's kind of like people, I feel like the people from your past keep trying to like, because these are very different energies, right? This is somebody who just like says whatever and does whatever because they think they're always right, or they have the best idea, they're the loudest in the room. They act rashly, and they often end up having to eat their words. They end up in arguments. Not everybody really likes them. They also end up missing the point more often than not. And that's kind of what creates, you know, their own issues that they then have to kind of clean up the messes from. And that's part of their learning and growth process. I have a complicated relationship with the Knight of Swords. But this is somebody who goes within, who consults spirit, who believes equally in the spiritual guidance they're getting, as well as what, you know, their own thoughts and feelings about something. This is somebody who is measured and balanced in their approach. This is also somebody who sometimes low-key, I wouldn't say necessarily needs validation, but that it's very important for them to be right and to be the smartest person in the room. Whereas the Hermit doesn't need that validation from other people about what they know, what they are trying to know, what they are seeking. And so I feel like you're in this place, you're coming into this place to really like doing some soul searching, getting very real about where you want to go, right? Directions and journey, the direction that you want to, you know, you want your ship to go in, the direction that you want to have in your life. And this is kind of what you're turning your back on or running away from, is that it's like, I don't, you know, I don't want to be pushed into making snap decisions. You know, maybe it's like, I don't want to just go with the flow or do whatever you want to do. I don't want to always be, maybe like this is kind of the energy where it's like people who, you know, can be funny and witty, but people who can also be sarcastic and biting, or people who then try to pressure you, right? So like when you guys are in a good place, you can have a lot of fun with them, but when you guys are at odds, they're brutal. There's something kind of like that here. And I feel like you're just in a different place and you have a different way of solving your problems. We've had a couple of 9s come up as well. So there's a sense here of you claiming and seizing your independence when it comes to finding out what's right for you, where you want to invest your time and energy, the way you do soul searching. And some other people, like, we don't talk about it with the Hermit, but this is an attractive energy, right? I know nobody's ever going to look at tarot and be like, you know, the sexiest card in the deck is the Hermit. No, but there is something that is spiritually attractive about this energy, because this is antithetical to the way most of us live our lives or are taught to live our lives. Not seeking out guidance from other people, not really caring about what other people have to say, knowing that you hold the solutions, and being willing and enjoying the process of disconnecting from the outside world, the hustle and bustle, the distractions, to find what is true, and then living in that energy, acting in that, and being like, okay, this is how I live my life now. And so there's a sense here where people get attracted to this energy. People want to know, well, why are you so confident in what you know? You know, what do you know that I don't? This is why it's an attractive energy, because the Hermit doesn't feel the need, unlike the Knight of Swords, to like go in there and share every single thought and like share every single plan. The Hermit also doesn't need to be the right person, like, you know, the smartest person in the room. They don't need other people to think that they're right. They don't need to really like get that same validation. And so there might be this sense where you're just kind of, you're growing and maturing past the people who you have kept company with. And there's a sense here of just letting that old version of self and that old life fall away. Yep. Wow. 10 of Swords reversed and the 8 of Cups. I think either you and these other people involved have already been through a lot together, and it's time to let it go. Or these people may have put you through a lot, and you've held on because you really, really care. There's a lot of emotional investment, but it is now time to walk away, especially because they're walking away from the 10 of Swords. It's time to walk away. Page of Cups, so you can start fresh in the direction that you would like to go. So I kind of want to just pull a couple cards of advice real quick. The World, yeah, let something end, let yourself evolve, and let new people come into your life to support that process. Be curious about who you are and what you need, and don't feel bad about advocating for where you are now. Yep, Queen of Swords and the Sun. When you start putting up boundaries and speaking your truth and deciding what's for you and what's not, A, I feel like you're going to feel a lot better. B, things are going to go very favorably for you. So while it might be a little bit uncomfortable, it's actually going to turn out a lot better than you might have thought. So I think that's just about everything I have for you guys today. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll get the chance to read for you again soon. Take care.